The dwarves. They're rallying.
They're rallying to their king.
Hello and welcome to the Total Warhammer, friends. You're probably wondering how the hell we even got to this part in the campaign. Well, to recap the last episode, we were fighting ogres, but somehow we did blitz our way over to Skarsnik's Crooked Moon area, and well, we declared war on him as soon as we met him. We did intercept him in the underway stance, and this is the result of it. We should probably rewind back to the past footage and really showcase the battle in full. In total honesty there, everyone, I did have a few rounds where it was mostly just a lot of diplomacy, lots of movement, lots of recruiting too. I did cut that out for editing purposes and also to really just showcase the main part of the battle against Skarsnik. And yes, this is kind of a interesting and weird way to go about filming and recapping the battles and campaigns. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts on it are, and also what things that you would like to see, or if you would like me to change some things too. Any honest and constructive feedback is very much appreciated, my friends. But let's rewind back to the battle and see how things got from here. A massive risk and possible reward here, sending one of our heroes to scout ahead and keep a visible eye on the enemy forces. We'll also be using him to hold up at least a quarter of their army, hopefully separating some of their units from the main army, and thus giving us a little bit of a hopefully numerical advantage against them. Skarsnik and his squig leading the center, alongside his Slymaster hero, the Ragnarok Spider, and also the left flank may be a potential problem for us, as his Night Goblin Squig Hoppers support his other Night Goblins, and also nasty Skulkers on the way too. Going back to one of the conflicts on the right side, we see that the nasty Skulkers, or the Night Goblins, are actually causing damage to their own units in order to try to damage our hero. We are unfortunately tired at this stage, but we are doing our best to hold up their army, damage part of their Night Goblins, hopefully even get some of the nasty Skulkers in here as well and damage them too. The whole point for our hero at the moment is to do some damage to their units, tire them out, maybe even get them to rout off the battlefield. But yeah, as you can see there, their goblins are doing massive amounts of damage to their own units in order to try to kill us. Personally, I think it's a good trade-off to not really sacrifice one of our heroes, but to essentially just buy ourselves some extra time. Nasty Skulker's actually taking quite a bit of his health away too. Skarsnik charging in to try to take him out, but this is even more perfect too. Getting Skarsnik separated from the main part of his army just to focus on one of our heroes. That's something that I would consider a W. We've also done considerable, not just considerable, but massive amounts of damage to one of his Night Goblin units. Delayed part of his army at least. Bit of damage to some of his Goblin units, and now some of his Goblin archers are pulling away from his main army to focus fire on us. Second half, even if you do die in the middle of this battle, this would be well worth it to take out Skarsnik and also to absolutely destroy the Crooked Moon in the early stages of the campaign before they can gain momentum. Going back to our main army here, Drummer Hammerfist will be supporting our Rangers, with our Miners being supported by Dwarf Warriors, Hammerers as well, and also the rest of our heroes as frontline support and leadership buffs. We'll also be using the Throny Ironbrow and also King Luon to do damage to the front line, hopefully crumbling them before they actually get a chance to even reach our Rangers. That's the main goal, hopefully anyways. Skarsnik and his Night Goblins, or Nasty Skulkers, actually doing quite a bit of work on the Hackenhalf, and this is where I call a retreat, or doing my best to withdraw him from the battlefield before any actual injury could really happen to him. Even if he's wounded a bit, that's fine with me. He's done his job of separating Skarsnik from his army and also delaying them in time too. Rest of their army is about to start charging in right now. My main concern is this right flank potentially collapsing, which is why I decided to try to buffer it with 2 units of Dwarf Warriors. The left flank being buffered with Dwarf Warriors and Hammerers, and the center being supported by Belegar and King Lun as well. We'll also be using Dramar and also our Rangers to focus fire on their Arachnarok Spider before they can really do any sort of damage to us. This is going to be a major problem for us as well. I was going to send King Luon to do some damage to their Arachnarok, but he was intercepted by their Goblin Big Boss. So we decided to change things around and have him duel the Big Boss instead, later on sending in Belegar to do some damage and work on him as well. Big Boss is losing decisively, thankfully, and also our Miners are holding they're actually doing a really good job at holding up not just the Spider, but also the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers too. Dramar and also the Rangers getting a bit of damage on their Arachnarok Spider, but also our Miners taking a considerable amount of damage too, and also on the retreat. Dwarf Warriors also taking a considerable amount of damage. Let's see how things are going for the left flank. Massive explosion there by Throny Ironbrow. Night Goblins trying their best to try to cut off our Miners, but also this provides an opportunity of them damaging their own forces and us having that explosion there with our rune magic to send in our Dwarf Warriors and also our Hammerers. Left flank seems to be in our complete favor. It's in our favor now. Right flank very much struggling here, but also doing its best to hold their line too. Dwarf Warriors doing their hardest to take out one unit of Nasty Skulkers, or actually 3 units of Nasty Skulkers and a unit of Night Goblins. Goblin Archers also advancing in on us, as well as a few Squig Hoppers advancing too. but not before we can use Draymar to try to intercept them. Didn't really work there. They did charge into our Rangers, but they're doing very minimal damage at the most. A Ragnarok Spider taking massive amounts of damage from both our Rangers, Belegar, and also shots from Draymar, sending him into full retreat, and the center flank is won by us at the moment. Left flank is also pretty much in our favor. Miners coming back into the fight and also holding their own against the Night Goblins there. Right flank may be struggling a little bit, but our Dwarf Warriors are doing their job of holding off the oncoming horde of Night Goblins and Nasty Skulkers. This is going to be a very decisive battle for us because we do not need Skarsnik or Crooked Moon to produce more Nasty Skulkers or to overrun us with greenskins. Massive amounts of carnage on both sides now. Night Goblins in the throng with their Nasty Skulker brethren, and Hammerers doing their best to try to hold the line here against them. Seems as though the Goblins are breaking though. The Ragnarok Spider trying to come in for one last fight, but it's essentially on its last legs. Nasty Skulkers about to charge into our Rangers here, but all of our Rangers opening fire on them point blank range. And it's good to know that our Rangers can hold their own in combat too, sending the Nasty Skulkers into a retreat. Throny Ironbrow heading over to cause another explosion there. Just as we're sending our Dwarf Warriors to try to circumvent and protect the center flank. They are taking a massive beating though from the Nasty Skulkers and Night Goblins. There's only so much that they can do to hold the line on the left flank. Skarsnik now joining in on the main fray, causing a little bit of a gas explosion there. That's probably going to hurt our armor quite a bit, but we're using this time now to use Draymar and also our Rangers to focus fire on Skarsnik. Skarsnik doing damage to his own army in order to try to collapse our front line. Very risky indeed, and he's taking a lot of damage from our Dwarf Warriors and massive amounts of pelting from our arrows there too. King Lun and Belegar charging in now to take care of Skarsnik, sending him into full retreat. And that is the battle, everyone. Question is King Lun or is King Belegar going to land the killing blow on Skarsnik? We don't need him to retreat. We want to kill him here and now, in the early stages, before he can actually get his feet off the ground. It's a battle of the wobbles right now. Rangers might actually take this kill here. King Lun focusing solely on Skarsnik and his squig itself. Oh, and Belegar intercepting them, taking the final kill for himself, but celebrating with his ancestor. And that is the battle, friends. Very costly though, massive amounts of casualties for both sides, and also a near potential loss of one of our heroes too. Alright everyone, after that absolute mollywhopping of Skarsnik by yours truly, we decided to keep sacking and using Karak Grill as a loot settlement, basically taking a lot of oath gold from it, and also fulfilling some of the grudges as well. There was a grudge here that said, win 5 battles against the Crooked Moon mutinous Gits, which we did, and on the last battle, we took the settlement for ourselves, and in doing so, we actually destroyed them outright. They didn't have much in terms of expansion, and we caught them with their pants down in the early stages of the game. Once we destroyed Skarsnik, everything else of theirs was falling apart. As we can see here, the grudge was aborted, giving us the Master Rune of Spite, which will grant us direct damage to combatants, and also a bunch of Oath Gold as well, putting us up to 107. We also killed off the last of their leaders in a decisive victory. However, in doing so, with us leveling, some of our enemies have grown stronger too, such as the minor clan of Skaven here, Clan Gritek. These are essentially kind of like a minor Skaven faction, or like what we're supposed to expect before we fight against Queek Headtaker. They do have a pretty decent army here too, although I can't say that their front line is anything to write home about. Their Skaven slave slingers may be an issue for us. There's also a couple of ogres that we decided to neglect in order for us to take out Skarsnik early. But also the fact too that we have Karak Ziflin as a buffer zone for us. It was really nice that we were able to sell it to our dwarf friends at Karak Azul for a hefty price at 7,000. For Grim Peaks, we may sell it now eventually, or eventually down the line. If we sell it to Barak Var, Bugman's Brewery, they're not going to give us the full amount for it, which is a solid 11,668. Let's take a look if Karak Azul. Nope, doesn't look like they'll pay much if anything for it either. Some of the other factions are just outright unfriendly to us, so it's probably not in our best interest to sell it to them if anything. Legions of Setep, which was our semi-Tomb King allies, they're also very much running low on money at the moment too. I may demolish the building though, refunding us 1,200, and thus cutting back on some of the negative income that is coming our way too. But we also were recruiting several units of Quarrelers, essentially making a doom stack, but also getting some Dwarf Warriors for some frontline too. We'll be taking Lun, and eventually meeting up hopefully very soon with Belegar as well, pouring all of our resources into Karak Grill. We'll actually demolish that building in order to make way for another military building there. And yeah, I think we'll end the episode there, friends. I know this is a little bit of a shorter episode. It was definitely filmed differently from the first one, but on the next episode or so, we'll be fighting against this minor Skaven clan, making our way down to Karak Loon, and also trying our best to help out our friends of Karak Azul. It seems as though they might have a bit of a Skaven problem here too. And yeah, they're already at war with 2 Skaven clan wars, which I'm glad that we're out of the frying pan with taking out Skarsnik, but we are into the fire now with taking on Queek Headtaker. There is definitely a major war to come between us dwarves and the Skaven friends, so wish us luck. And for any of the new people who may have stumbled across this video, or if you watched the whole way through, thank you so much for doing so, and I would love to have you join us on the next few adventure, friends. So If you love talking shop about D&D, Warhammer, or a little bit of Elder Scrolls lore, and love these narrative-driven style campaigns, I'd love to have you consider hitting those like, subscribe, and bell icon notifications, and I'll save you a seat at the table for the next adventure. Take care and farewell.